Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, just breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of stress or tension or worry to leave your body in your outward breath. That's it. As you breathe in slightly deeper than you would normally breathe in, filling yourself with that feeling of confidence and resourcefulness. And as you exhale, just focus your attention on the muscles in your eyelids, around your eyebrows, so that as you breathe out, you're able to allow any tension to be released, giving you a sense of deep relaxation. That's it. Breathe in and breathe out. And as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to create an image in your mind, perhaps of an old weather report, maybe with a map of Europe. And I want you to see the temperatures, maybe with the icon of the sun placed over the country of Greece. And perhaps you can remember a time where that bright sunshine and hot temperatures appealed to you. And there was just a desire to be in that country. But I want you to imagine that maybe you're seeing the weather report in a newspaper or on TV, that you're stepping into that weather report and finding yourself in that location, wearing whatever clothing is appropriate to be not just in Greece, but in the capital of Greece, Athens. You're wearing perhaps light, comfortable clothing, maybe sandals or open shoes, maybe sunglasses to help deal with the bright sunshine. And I want you to feel how good it would feel to be there in Athens, breathing in that wonderful feeling of resourcefulness. But I want you to accept the idea that any tension, any stress in your body is almost like crystals of ice locked into your muscle tissue. But here you are in this summer sun there in Athens. As you accept the idea that that sun is melting away any of that stress, any of that tension, feeling that tension leave your body in your outward breath, taking you deeper and deeper relaxed. And I want you to picture the Acropolis, those ancient pillars, the ruins of a once impressive building where the greatest thinkers, the likes of Hippocrates, would have shared knowledge. And I want you to imagine there is the most comfortable chair that's possible to exist right there in the center of the Acropolis. Maybe a recliner. And part of you is wondering why such a comfortable chair is just sat in the middle of ancient Greek ruins. But you have a desire to take a seat. And as you rest your body in that comfortable chair, maybe reclining it backwards, and perhaps this particular chair is in shade, so it's warm but no longer with direct sunlight, enabling you to really deeply relax there in Athens, in the Acropolis, there in a very comfortable chair. As I count down from 5 to 1, you will imagine feeling so deeply relaxed that you will imagine what it would be like to drift off into a dream inside your imagination. Resting on the chair, 5, just feeling like your head is getting heavier. 4, your arms and legs are just getting limp and loose. That's it. 3, that your internal organs are all starting to relax. 2, feeling a desire to yawn and drift off into a deep, relaxing sleep. There in Athens, safe, secure, there in the Acropolis. And 1, just imagine drifting off into a deep sleep inside your imagination. And I want you to dream about someone you know well that is an excellent communicator, an excellent networker. Maybe you can recall a time where you saw them in action, naturally having the right kind of facial expressions and body language to build rapport quickly. That over time they'd built up belief systems and strategies that enabled them to feel completely at ease in all different social dynamics. That over time they'd built up such social capital and social equity that half the work was already done based on their reputation. And I want you to imagine seeing them with a glowing golden circle beneath their feet. Almost like a light is shining from beneath them. And I want you to accept the idea that this golden circle represents their unique resources where it comes to networking and communicating, but also having boundaries and being able to move from one meeting, one conversation to another. An excellent networker knows that there is diminishing returns by staying in a long conversation too long, particularly where time is scarce. In order to work the room, they have to end conversations politely and respectfully and move on and create new conversations. And imagine that all these resources exist in this person, represented by this golden glowing circle beneath their feet. Wherever they walk, this golden circle follows them underneath their feet. And I want you to imagine what it would be like to step into their body. When you've seen them at their best, this consummate professional, friendly, sociable, yet effortlessly able to work the room and create good conversation, share small talk and anecdotes, but have those important professional questions as well. Feel like you're witnessing how they operate from within inside. There is this feeling of connection, almost like a light shining from their heart to the heart of the person they're speaking to. Able to make eye contact with a smile effortlessly. That opening opportunity of maybe shaking hands or asking how someone is. And maybe they have a good memory for names or previous personal anecdotes that other people shared, maybe the names of their children. Knowing that by asking personal questions, it makes that other person feel important. I want you to get a sense that there is a glowing gold circle beneath your feet as you feel comfortable in this environment. And I want you to imagine that this gold circle represents how you feel when you have this ability to seamlessly transition from the social version of you to the professional version of you and back and forth. Knowing what information you want to share, knowing what information you're happy to ask, insights, advice. Just allow this golden circle to represent an idea that you are good. Making that transition from small talk and chat to pragmatic, following an agenda, following a schedule. As you breathe in and breathe out, just get a sense that the resources that were there in that colleague now exist within you. that the innate ability to be this kind of person exists, but it requires practice to get good. Just like it takes practice to get good at anything. And I want you to imagine that you're now seeing yourself not in a room full of people where you're networking face to face, and not even in a one-to-one meeting. I want you to imagine seeing yourself perhaps at the place where you normally work, maybe a desk, in front of a computer, and I want you to see that gold glowing circle beneath your feet as you see this consummate networker in action, perhaps on meetings over Teams. You can see how relaxed you look in front of that webcam. And I want you to see you in action as you're able to ask questions, have that social voice at the beginning of a meeting, but notice how effortlessly you can transition from that social voice into that business voice, letting everyone know that the chat is now finished and it's now time to get down to business. And as you see yourself looking like someone else, I want your mind to be open to new ideas, new ways of thinking that enable you to be better able to be the kind of person that helps to integrate into a new role with a new culture. As you enter a state of even deeper relaxation, even as the observer, you can feel a surge of self-assurance and confidence flowing through you, empowering you to be assertive in all social situations. Your mind becomes a master strategist, effortlessly formulating the perfect small talk and engaging personal stories to connect with others. You find comfort and ease in sharing your personal life during small talk, knowing that this vulnerability fosters genuine connections with your colleagues. Your assertiveness blossoms, and you feel confident asking personal and social questions at the beginning of meetings, fostering an environment of openness and camaraderie. And you embrace the concept of accumulating social equity, understanding that building cohesive relationships with your colleagues is a powerful asset in your professional life. This isn't a distraction. This isn't something that gets in the way of you getting work done. This helps you to get the work done. Seamlessly, you transition from the social tonality to a more formal, down-to-business approach, which immediately commands respect and attention from your colleagues. Cultures are created by multiple people. Each person contributes to that unique culture. And what if your contribution to this culture is to acknowledge the openness, the chattiness, the sharing of personal information, and yet you evolve that by being a role model for everyone to seamlessly transition from social to business effortlessly, just like you do. Your confidence becomes a beacon, inspiring others to open up and share their thoughts and ideas freely with you. And you establish clear and healthy boundaries with your colleagues, ensuring that your personal space and energy are always respected. If you're in a meeting that's going on too long, it's completely fine to give them a heads up that you've got a certain amount of time left before you're going to need to end the meeting, encouraging them to utilize the Pareto principle that if there's anything crucially important they need to cover in the remaining time, then now is the time to do that. With each passing day, you feel more comfortable and empowered to leave a meeting if it becomes necessary, knowing that your time is valuable and your presence is a choice. And because of that, you elevate the respect, but also the authority and status that you have within this culture. While other people might be reluctant to leave a meeting early, you will do that in a respectful, polite way that manages the expectations of those other people. Your presence exudes a magnetic charm, making others naturally drawn to your positive energy and authentic demeanor. But this element of introducing boundaries and being polite, friendly, yet respectful radiates an aura of personal power, inviting others to trust and confide in you, creating strong bonds of trust and collaboration. Your interactions become masterful dances of connection and mutual understanding, leaving a lasting impact in those meetings and conversations. And you feel secure in your ability to navigate social situations, making you a confident and influential presence in any gathering, as these skills cannot exist contextually only in conversations over Teams. How you work with people face to face improve. In networking events improve. In large social gatherings improve. These skills are not mutually exclusive. Your assertiveness becomes a key asset in negotiations and decision making, allowing you to communicate your needs and ideas with clarity and conviction. And you gracefully handle any challenges that arise, maintaining composure and grace in all circumstances. I want you to see that future version of you confident on those team calls with a newfound confidence, which allows you to approach other situations like networking opportunities with excitement and curiosity, fostering valuable connections and potential partnerships. And it is a game. And one of those key elements of that game is to read social cues and respond appropriately. And the more you practice that, the better you become until it becomes finely tuned, enhancing your relationships with colleagues and clients alike. And because of that, your social intelligence grows, helping you to adapt and connect with individuals from diverse backgrounds and perspectives. And to begin with, you may use the equivalent of stabilizers on a bike, things that help you to find this future where you're perfectly balanced. So it's totally fine to have a few anecdotes written down by the side of your computer. Maybe a few powerful, profound, ice-breaking questions that are just on hand if you need them. You already know that people like talking about themselves more than anything else. And what if at the beginning of these meetings and calls, you've got amazing questions that enable people to feel that they can open up to you and share what's happening in their world, building even more of that social equity. But fundamentally, you embrace the power of vulnerability, recognizing that by sharing your experiences, yet being discerning with the experiences that you share, you create a space for others to do the same, strengthening your relationships. As you breathe in and breathe out, with each breath you feel a deeper sense of personal empowerment, confident in your ability to create meaningful connections and forge lasting bonds with others. I want you to step into that future version of you, feeling how you would feel if you were calm and confident, able to be vulnerable, yet switch to that down-to-business approach effortlessly. And then imagine how you would be 1 year from now, 1 year of building all of that social equity, that you realize that even something as simple as sharing what biscuits you like, or happy to ask a question of someone's TV show that they enjoy, you become the glue that creates the cohesiveness in this culture, allowing people to open up, feel safe, to feel valued, meaning that social equity can be put to use when you need things to be done, when you need favors, when you need understanding, when you need to leave a meeting early. That social equity is there. Therefore, no bridges are burned. Feel how good it feels to be in that culture and to have helped evolve that culture. And if you feel that this is just a skill like any other, that you can get better with practice, that you can evolve, but you now have a framework to make the game winnable for you, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And then realize that this is just thoughts within thoughts, that you're dreaming while sitting on a relaxing chair, there in the ruins of ancient Athens. And imagine getting up out of that chair. And then just imagine that you're absorbing all the wisdom from the great Greek thinkers, Socrates, Hippocrates. Imagine that you're observing their wisdom simply by being in the place where incredible thoughts were discussed. As you acknowledge the possibility that even the greatest thinkers with the biggest impact may have asked social questions to other great thinkers to build that social equity all those thousands of years ago. Tap into that idea that this helps you to achieve what you want to do and is not a hindrance. As then you imagine staring into a weather report, looking into the hot temperatures of Greece, and then find yourself back in the present listening to my voice. And in doing so, you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, fully integrate into this moment in time. As I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, you will awaken feeling resourceful, feeling that you now have a game plan, that you're happy to kind of work on those questions and anecdotes that you're happy to share. That actually this is a game, and a game that you're going to get very, very good at. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.